Today we're going to talk about something that is a little controversial. Sometimes it's a hot button topic, and people have their opinion one way or another. And for a long time I've had an opinion about this, and we're talking about bootlegs today. And so it's something that it comes up all the time, but it's nothing new. They've been around forever, and you call it something different, homebrew, bootleg. Now they're calling it MOD, manufacturer on demand, on eBay, where there's movies that have never had an official Blu-ray release, but they're being listed as MODs. And MODs, manufacturer on demand, and Warner Brothers and Sony have done that over the years. There's other companies, I'm sure, as well. But an MOD that is officially, sanctioned by the studios is a lot different than some guy on eBay selling a movie that's never officially been released. So this movie here, Carney, comes from Warner Brothers, Warner Archive here, and the DVD is a burned disc. Now there's two different versions of MOD, and there's a burned disc and there is a press disc, and most of the Sonys that I have are press discs, I believe. But this is something that this was officially put out by Warner Brothers, but the ones on eBay that I'm constantly finding, and I have a stack here, these movies here, some of them, there's one movie in particular I was looking for, but then I thought, hey, maybe this is legit. It came with a wrapped in cellophane, it had a Netflix sticker on it, it has a barcode on the back, and if you scan the barcode, it actually comes up in my movie app as being this movie. But this is The Babysitter, and there was a limited edition 4K, and I don't know if that was official or what it was, but it was something that popped up. There's a website, you can still go to it, but they're all sold out and you can't buy any. For a while I believe that was also on blu-ray.com, but this movie, The Babysitter, the Netflix movie, it was a burned disc. It's a very good quality, but this is just a simple burned disc. And something with just a little bit of knowledge, you could do it yourself. And so I've always had that kind of mentality of, why pay these people that are doing the wrong thing to do the wrong thing when you could just do it yourself very inexpensively. And so printing off your own custom covers, and I've made videos on that. But this is something that I thought I was buying a legitimate copy. And so when I got it, it's a burned disc, and everything that I've read on it says that it's basically a homebrew or a bootleg. I'm like, it works, it plays, it's a movie I wanted to have anyway, and so I've kept it. But at that time I wasn't really purposefully buying bootlegs and homebrews and looking for these, but over the years, through thrift stores and just purchasing stuff on eBay, I have definitely amassed a small collection of bootlegs. Now, the very first ones that I ever did buy, and I knew that I was getting these were the despecialized versions of Star Wars. And I got these many years ago before I learned how to make my own custom covers. And what it was I had wanted these specifically. They were in nice thicker cases. And so we have The Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi here. And when you open these up, they did a great job. There's artwork on the interior. There's two discs, this Project 4K 83, and then Star Wars Return of the Jedi. So there's two different versions in here. And they're all just on burnt discs. And what it was the guy was selling these cases. And that's actually what I was looking for, because I had those files and I was just going to put them on a disc myself. But it was doing these custom covers and getting the nice artwork in the case. It was something that I hadn't really, figured out how to do yet. And so I was buying these, and then to get around whatever they were trying to get around to fight Disney or whoever, these were included free, but all of the listing for this was these cases. So it was just kind of a nice surprise when I got them. And, he emailed me and said that there would be discs included as to not, so there was no damage on shipping or something. It was basically saying that having discs in here would stop it from cracking or breaking or whatever. And I mean, that's just a silly workaround that this person used. But I love the artwork on here. There's information on the back, and all this artwork and information is great. There's no barcode because these are homebrews, but it is the CBS Fox video artwork here. Absolutely love that. And the same thing here with The Empire Strikes Back. You have that beautiful artwork. And that was why I just kind of got into this, is because the artwork that we were getting for the Blu-rays and the DVDs and stuff as of lately was very boring. Same thing, there's 2 discs in this one as well. And there's artwork on these discs. So there's this one and this one. And so that's kind of what I was like, man, you know, I was like, the whole bootleg homebrew thing. And I made a video about this a while ago. Don't, you know, get bootlegs or don't support it or whatever. And I still have all my thoughts on that are basically the same. And I'll link that video at the end. But it was basically movies that were still in theaters were being put out digitally where you could rent it digitally. And then there was these crazy good bootlegs coming out of China and being sold for like $20 a piece while the movie was still in theaters. And that's just a very frustrating thing. But movies that are kind of lost or stuck on streaming, or these original versions of Star Wars without all the special edition cuts, it was just nice to be able to have. And so with this one here, the interior artwork, it's just, again, it's something that we're not getting from the studios. And so then I had this kind of moral dilemma of like, am I going to keep doing this? Am I going to look for homebrews? Am I going to do? And the answer was no. I just kind of wasn't really into it. And then this one here, Star Wars. I just wasn't really into it, and I had my Star Wars. I was very happy with that. And then it was getting The Babysitter, which was a movie that was stuck on Netflix. Everyone was saying how awesome it was. And, you know, I just wanted to check it out. And so I bought it. I enjoyed it. But it was a bootleg. That's the interior for that one as well. So having these in my collection for years, and then since then, other people have made these, other, you know, people have popped up selling these online, and there's different artwork for each one. But this is something that I've been very happy with over the years. And if there was ever an official release from Disney for these, they would be a day one purchase for sure. But then I was thrifting one day, and this one, the case is actually like kind of mangled. It's kind of, you know, bowed in or bent or something. I'm not sure. I've just had it the way it was. But this one comes with a barcode. I'm not sure if this was an MOD release. I've talked about this movie before, but Middlemen, it is a burned disc, and the quality on the front looks like it's the same as, you know, what you could do at home, printing this out on the disc and printing out your own custom cover. But there is a burned, it's a burned disc. This did have an official Blu-ray release, and it comes from Gravitas Ventures. So this did have an official Blu-ray release. I'm not sure if this is that official Blu-ray release, or it is an actual bootleg, or it was an official MOD. I'm not positive at all, but this is what I found at the thrift store. And it is a burned disc, and again, it's something that I could just make here in my own office. So, you know, it just kind of goes in that pile of maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But then this movie is another one I found at the thrift store, and it's Sunburn. Now this one, I don't think we ever got, there might be a DVD in Germany or somewhere else, but I don't think we ever got an official DVD release of this at all. Again, there's no barcode on the back. And one of the telltale signs is if you're buying something on eBay, it'll list all regions or region free. And that's almost always a sign of a bootleg movie. But this one here, again, found at the thrift store, no barcode on the back, just a simple plain writing on the DVD, which is something we would have had back in the day. Like, there was plenty of DVDs that had zero artwork and just the title of the movie. But again, it's just a simple burned disc. And like I said, I'm not sure if we ever had an official Blu-ray or DVD of this, but it is something that, it's a movie I enjoyed. It was a nice blind buy, but when I got it home and I opened it up and I realized that it was a burned disc, it's just another bootleg. And finding these things out in the wild is crazy, But then having that also conversation with my used bookstore, trying to trade some stuff in, I have some MOD discs here, official releases, that they won't take because they claim it's a bootleg, and not understanding that that movie Carney, put out by Warner Archive, and pretty much all the Warner Archive DVDs at this point come on those burned blue discs. But now here's something, it's another thing. So after I had purchased my Star Wars and the Babysitter movie, this is another one that I had really wanted to get into, and there was no official release. And so there was that moral dilemma of, do I get the one on eBay? And I did. And so this is the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance, the Netflix TV show. And this one came from Russia. They did a fairly good job with it. There's a couple of the episodes that automatically play in Russian, or maybe the subtitles come up and you got to switch it around. But for the most part, all the episodes are in English. They play fine. And like I said, the one that comes up in Russian, you either have to turn the... You just have to switch the audio or the subtitle. I just don't remember which one it was at this point. But it was like 1 or 2 episodes. But other than that, I thought they did a fairly good job with this as well. When I got it, this one did not have a barcode, but this one did come wrapped, and it had the sticker. It had like a Netflix sticker on it, and it says Netflix series. All the stuff here looks official, as if it was an official release, but this never did come to Blu-ray, and it's still stuck on streaming, and then they even canceled it. So burned discs, but again, you have the artwork on there. So I think they did a fairly good job with it, and the price was right. And so that is that question of, if these things are just never going to be released and I want to have it, like, what do you do? And so just finding some of these, now, like I said, most of them were accidents. The only ones that I purposely purchased was the Babysitter, but I didn't know. I thought that was an official release. The Dark Crystal, that one I did know, and Star Wars. I knew that those despecialized editions, but I didn't. Like, I was buying the cases, and then the guy's like, "Oh, you're getting the discs." So it was one of those things. I was going to put my own discs in there, so that is also a different thing too. But then this movie here is one that comes up all the time that doesn't have a Blu-ray release, and people like, and it's Mischief. So it's just a classic movie, and maybe it did get a limited Blu-ray release, but either way, this one comes up when I talk about movies that don't have a Blu-ray. People do mention this one, so maybe it doesn't. But then also on the back, you got no barcode. It says all regions, region free. It plays perfect. Just a classic comedy. Something that I really did enjoy. It came highly recommended by many people over the years, and so I finally picked it up, and it just happened to be this really good bootleg. And so the question lies is, you know, if the studios aren't going to be willing to do this, then is this the future? Is this what's going to happen for physical media collecting, is picking up stuff like this, homebrews, or even learning how to do it yourself? But at the same time, these bootlegs, they have a lot more effort put into them than the studios do, and they're asking a lot less. So it's also another thing that's frustrating. Like, the very bare minimum of some artwork on the disc and some artwork on the interior is something that most of the studios don't do anymore, and you're lucky to get it, or maybe a boutique label does it, and you can switch out the artwork, that type of stuff. But you know, just the fact that these bootlegs have, you know, a little bit more effort put into them. This is another one. I've had this one for years, and again, I thought it was an official release when I got this, and at the time, you know, I talk about it all the time, it doesn't have an official release because I have the DVD, but it is Ruthless People. And so this was an old piece of artwork that, you know, I think this was the original movie poster, or maybe the movie teaser trailer poster, or not teaser trailer, but the movie teaser poster. And so this is something I know I've seen before, but you know, when I picked it up, again, it was another thing where I was like, oh, when I got it, where's the barcode? Because that's why I scan all my movies to try to keep track of what I have, and I use the barcode scanner on my phone, and it's the same thing. But again, we have beautiful artwork on the disc, and we have artwork on the interior. Again, stuff that you're not getting with any of the studio releases as of lately. And sometimes these bootlegs have even come with like special features that haven't existed since like DVD era. And so like when you do get the Blu-ray and you find out that there's like a Blu-ray release or a 4K release coming, they don't necessarily have all the stuff that was put onto these. Now these ones don't. The ones I have in my collection don't, but I have seen other people talking about getting bootlegs because they have extra stuff on them. And then this one. Now this does have a Blu-ray and it does have a 4K, but again, when I picked it up, I had no idea that this is a bootleg. So, and when I picked this one up at the time, I think I paid like $11 for it or something. And again, it came wrapped in cellophane and, you know, it looked official and legit, but then no barcode. And it also, again, has this beautiful artwork on the outside, burned disc. We have artwork on the disc, but then we have interior artwork as well. So it's something that, you know, as frustrated as I was when I found out that when I did buy this, there's an available Blu-ray. And so there's that dilemma of throwing this in the trash, buying the Blu-ray, buying the 4K now that this is out. It's a fantastic film, and I probably should, but that's where I'm at. Like, this is, you know, I didn't have a very large bootleg collection because it wasn't something that I was actively collecting for. The majority of them, like I said, accidental purchases or finds at the thrift store and not realizing what I had until I got home, and also not getting rid of it. So I mean, I've kept these for the longest time. I usually don't talk about it because it does bring in that kind of hot button topic, and a lot of times when I talk about the movies that are on DVD that don't have a Blu-ray, that it almost always is like a go-to for several people be in the comments saying, just download it, just pirate it. And yeah, you could totally do that, and I don't recommend it. I like owning the stuff. That's why I have these, because I wanted to own them. But at the same time, like, it's just kind of like for me, a dark spot in my collection, because while I enjoy having Ruthless People on Blu-ray, it's not an official copy. Is one ever coming out? Now I do own it on VHS and DVD, so I do have official copies of the movie, but you know, the fact that I have this and I just want it to be put out on Blu-ray, this would go in the trash and would be a day one purchase for sure. And the same thing like this TV show. And this is, you know, it's never ending. There's all those Stranger Things shows. They only release the first two on DVD and 4K or Blu-ray or whatever they released. But then these ones here, they're completely stuck on streaming, and you have to get streaming to enjoy it. And then it turns into one of those things. Like, it's just this never-ending thing. When I went to go look the other day, the streaming service, you know, I think it's like $7 or $8 you can have it, but then it's full of commercials. And so that is like no point, you know, the whole point of getting rid of cable was to just kind of be able to enjoy my movie collection. And now if I'm going to go back to streaming or go to streaming, it's going like back to cable. And then you can pay like, I think it was like $25 a month or something. It was like a big number that I felt for what it was to get no commercials. And at some point, I think you're going to get commercials there too. So, because that was how streaming was sold, was, oh, you don't have commercials, you pay like $6 a month, it's totally great. And then every month there's a new article where a new streaming service or another streaming service is raising their prices, or they're adding things like commercials and that type of stuff, and I'm constantly reading it. And so it really is just cable 2.0, and so I don't want to have that experience. I want to have this experience where I take the disc and I put it in, but it's just an unofficial copy that I have acquired. And yeah, I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts on all this are. But this is something that it's not going away anytime soon. More and more of these movies and TV shows are popping up on eBay, and I am finding them at the thrift store regularly. And I haven't picked up everything that I've found, and I might have a few more. This is what I knew that I had. And then, yeah, you know, it's something that's not going to be going away. But moving forward, do you think it's going to be the way to go to get the things that are never going to be put out on physical media, or just hope and pray that it will come out someday? With that, you're going to want to check out this video right here for more movie recommendations. And remember to watch a movie today, and I'll catch you guys next time.